Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dugout podcast. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Marissa.
And today's episode, we'll be talking about cricket and football. But before we do, I think we need to apologize to our listeners. We missed last week. Our producer, had a special day.
Yeah, what happened was he had to go and get married, right? And I just don't understand what these people feel like they could just go off and just get married and then just leave us in the lurch.
Listen, let's just congratulate him.
Yes.
I'm actually very happy for him.
Yes, me too. Me too. Shot, no, I just put in his leg.
Yeah, it's true.
Congrats, Shot. And Amanda, yes.
Who going next? You join him next?
You mean you usually buy that? Anyways, let me not reveal that information on air.
It's true. You never know who might be watching.
You never know.
You never know who might be watching.
Never know.
All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to start with some cricket. Marissa, your favorite subject. The West Indies T20 team is out.
Yep. I mean, we're a little late on it, but we can still talk about it.
Sure. Yeah,
so, just to announce the squad, I'm sure everybody knows it by now, but it reads Nicholas Pooran captain, Rovman Powell vice captain, Yannick Correa, Johnson Charles, Sheldon Cottrell, Shimron Hetmeyer, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Brandon King, Evan Lewis, Kyle Mears, Obed McCoy, Raymond Reefer, and Odin Smith. Mm-hmm. So what were your thoughts when I sent you the team?
I don't really like the fact you tossed this to me first.
Oh, sorry.
Since you're the cricket person.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was as expected. There weren't many omissions or anything, well, apart from one that we'll mention eventually.
Right. For
me, at least. But I felt it was as expected. Right? So, I guess you can kick us off with the Correa versus Hayden Walsh Jr. Before you do, remember that I made a prediction that I think Yannick Correa played himself into contention. And again, it was proven right,
True.
Just saying.
I mean, yeah, I still am surprised, especially when I found out that he hasn't played a T20 since 2016, which is a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But he did have a very good series against New Zealand. We did see him bowling very accurate. I mean, he went for runs in some games, but he bowled very accurately. I know you were very impressed with some of the wickets he got.
Really was?
Yeah. And I think that it's a good, I don't want to use the word kick up the backside, but I think Hayden Walsh maybe just needed this time away from the team. I think he's definitely one of our best fielders, and I think we're going to miss that. But I think he has no longer become as reliable as he used to be. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't mind the correct inclusion. I really and truly, I think on one of the podcasts when we were talking about the New Zealand series and you were saying how impressed you were, I was like, what about him for T20s? And here we go. I still think it's a brave call. I don't think he will play, however, in my opinion. But I think that, they just want that leg spin option. So, brave decision. But I think Hayden Walsh just needs to go back to the drawing board a bit and, master his skill set a bit better than he has been over the last year or so.
Okay. In terms of me, actually, it was the call that I predicted. Mm-hmm. I just felt, yes, 50 over versus T20, different format, but I just felt like the quality in which Correa produced in those games against New Zealand, which by all accounts would be pretty stiff opposition in most cases, was impressive. And I felt like, it would have been hard to ignore him. Plus, Hayden Walsh, when I've seen him bowl, he hasn't seemed to have that wicket-taking threat or control, for that matter. He
did, though. Before you before you came back from your hiatus from cricket.
It was it deserved hiatus as well. The amount of junk that they were doing.
Yeah, he did have that, though, but definitely over last year, I see what you mean for sure.
Yeah, and I looked at their first-class records, and interestingly, I think Correa has more wickets at first-class level, better economy rate as well. So, it's not, to me, it wasn't surprising, and I felt like the only thing that Hayden Walsh has on Correa, like you said, is T20 experience, which might play a factor, might play a role. Could, very well, because he's inexperienced. I think Correa's only played like 3 or 4 games at T20 level, which is quite, sparse, to say the least. But I think he deserves the opportunity, especially considering the fact that Hayden Walsh Jr. hasn't been as good as he was, like you mentioned, when he first got in the team.
Yeah. So. I think he might still find, because I think we have to pick maybe 3 or 5 reserves. He may still find his way on the plane. Yeah, but yeah, it's not an omission that I am upset about because we both kind of saw it coming.
Correct.
Evan Lewis is back. Well,
this is a guy with the fitness issues, right?
Fitness issues, cusso issues with the board.
Right. That was the war with the board, right?
Yeah, so many things. I mean, from a cricketing perspective, I'm very happy. Evan Lewis is definitely one of the best T20 openers in the world. He is definitely our best opener.
Right.
And his record speaks for itself. He hasn't had a great CPL, or he didn't have a great CPL because the Patriots are out. But honestly, I think he is just too good to leave out. My only concern is because when they announced his squad, they announced it in his break of a CPL game. And the question was, because Ian Bishop would have interviewed, I think it was Desmond Haynes, about his selections. And the question was asked by Ian Bishop about his fitness, but it kind of really wasn't answered. So I'm wondering if his fitness issues are in the past or if they've been resolved. But for me, I know a lot of people would have said, he had his issues with the board and he hasn't played cricket for the West Indies for the year. But honestly, you can't leave out a player of that caliber. Honestly, I think even though Kyle Mears and Brandon King have been good, I still think that there's a way to fit the 3 of them in the side and strengthen our batting.
Right. Okay, I agree with you. Normally, I like the debate.
Shocking.
I love to play devil's advocate from time to time.
Clearly, shot getting married has mellowed your cold heart.
Oh. We still got some people to discuss on this list.
Oh, okay. Let me not speak too fast. Then. Okay.
But I agree with you. I think Evan Lewis and his explosiveness is an asset that we need at the top of the innings. I know Kyle Mears is explosive as well to a certain extent. I haven't seen consistent, good performances from Brandon King for me to be impressed. But you told me that you think he's an excellent batsman in the making.
Yeah.
So we'll see, how he develops or how he does in this tournament. But I think I agree. I think Evan Lewis's talent, especially lost. I know people were championing the older guard to leave and stuff like that. But I think his experience in the absence of Chris Gayle and Bravos and that type of players, I think it's going to be a necessity and a welcome, addition back into the squad. So I think I expect he will, start. And I think he's one of those players, unless 2-3 games in, 4 games in, providing the 3 games that we play for the qualifying and then the actual tournament. Unless he gets no runs in those 3 to 4 games initially, I think then you would look to make a change. But I think he's going to be given a chance to, find his form. Right.
Just a point on what you mean about how people want the old guard to go. That's my thing. I think people need to understand that Nicholas Pooran, for me, needs experience around him.
Right.
He's a relatively young cricketer. He's definitely a young captain. And I think, you can't just throw... We made that mistake with Jason Holder. When Jason Holder became captain, he was young and he didn't really have a lot around him to support him. I think Pooran needs that. So what you said is important. You can't just get rid of every experienced person.
Correct.
You need that sort of experience around you as a captain, learning your trade as a captain. So, yeah.
Agreed.
So... Johnson Charles and Andre Fletcher versus Andre Fletcher was my next debate.
I didn't see Andre Fletcher on your list.
Oh, I slipped that.
But his name was in my head. If there's anybody that I might really be critical of their selection, it might be Fletcher. Not because I have anything personal against Fletcher, but you know what? Let you go first. Make points. Go ahead.
I think I had mentioned though, because I think I had picked him in my squad as the backup keeper / opener. I mean, it was a toss-up between him and Johnson Charles, to be honest, because they've both been tried and tested. I think Fletcher is a better keeper. Johnson Charles may be the better batsman, and Johnson Charles is a bit younger. I saw someone tweeted that he also looks fitter as well. But this is my thing with that selection. If you already have Kyle Mears and Brandon King opening, you have Evan Lewis as another opening option. Why pick Johnson Charles?
Exactly.
I think it speaks to two things. It speaks, one, to the lack of batsmen we have in the region.
Right.
Because I think this time last year, people were calling for Sherford and Rutherford inside, but he doesn't. I'm not sure was his deal. He had a poor CPL, but does he really want to play for the West Indies? Is he committed to playing cricket for the West Indies, or does he prefer the franchise circuit? I don't know. But there weren't a lot of batsmen that were bumming down the door, to be honest. Let's be real. But I still wouldn't have picked 4 openers in my T20 squad. Johnson Charles, yes, has had a good CPL, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
So what you're saying is that the West Indies are doing a bit of soft kit?
Look, do not compare the great
I'm just
Desmond
asking
Haynes
in terms
to
of the
Gareth
selection
Southgate.
process. I'm just asking.
I mean, let's be fair. West Indies selection process has never been consistent.
Fair enough.
So I just don't see the logic in the 4 openers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they looked at him, they looked at his form, they looked at his fitness, and they said, you know what, let's just bring him in. He probably won't play. In fact, I can only see Johnson Charles playing if Nicholas Puran can't keep wicket,
Right.
or if for some reason 2 openers get struck down with something. But yeah.
Right, because like for me, alright, so the names that you called Calmir's definitely is gonna play.
Yeah.
Then we have Brandon King.
Yeah.
Right, and I think Evan Lewis. So I think Evan Lewis or Brandon King will bat at 3, and next one will open. Vice versa. Right, I think that's where they'll start. So Johnson Charles being included in the team, like you said, I think it's just to strengthen the batting lineup potentially in terms of the LEC squad. In terms of if somebody's in really bad form, somebody gets an injury, he comes in. Right, but I don't expect him to play either. To be honest, I think it will be King, Lewis, Calmirs, and pouring out. That's top 4. And we're at 5. So, or whichever order you want to put it, based on the team or the conditions of the game or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see Johnson Charles playing. That's the truth. But I'm happy that they did not pick.
Of course you are.
It's all wrong. I'm okay with the fact that Andrew Fletcher was not included in the team. Because Andrew Fletcher is fast becoming our version of Devin Smith. Every squad he in. And no improvement is being made.
Wow.
Why are you laughing? It's true.
Wow.
Am I telling lies?
Wow.
Am I telling lies, Marissa?
No, you're not.
Well, good. I just want people to know I'm being honest.
Okay.
Andrew Fletcher. And you know what? But it's not his fault. It's just, like I said before, it's an indictment on the production line that we have in Caribbean right now. We're not producing enough quality cricketers to have, options and good headaches, right? So we also have to return to someone who is really past the best. We done see the best of Andrew Fletcher. The best of Andrew Fletcher was when he first came out into the regional cricket scene with the squad thing. Just been Antigua, the franchise cricket,
Stanford,
that thing that we all know what happened to that. Yeah, but that was the best of Andrew Fletcher. Best he done come and gone, as my uncle would say. We done see I believe that we've already seen the best of Andrew Fletcher, in my opinion. So I would much rather we pick somebody young and inexperienced to take than take Fletcher.
I don't disagree, to be honest. I don't know, him and Johnson Charles, I think it was a flip of a coin, to be honest.
Yeah.
So one name that I did not have anywhere near the squad, and not because of ability, but because of fitness, was Sheldon Cottrell. Now we know his record. We know that he's a good bowler. He's been a good servant for us, but he's been injured for most of the year.
Right.
Even playing the CPL, he doesn't look his usual self. I've been listening to some watch-alongs and stuff, and one of the guys would have said that even though he's fit to play, he doesn't look match fit, and that happens when you're rusty and everything. So I was surprised that they included him, but maybe that speaks as well to the lack of options. I mean, we do have some good bowlers coming up. There's a fella that I really like that has been playing really well for the Barbados Royals. His name is Ramon Simmons. He's like 20 and he's from Barbados. Doing really well, but this World Cup would have definitely been too soon.
Too soon for him.
I also heard Desmond Haynes mentioned Dominic Drates as a potential option, but he just had surgery. So I feel that Drates may have made it in the squad, but maybe Sheldon is there filling out numbers, because I don't think he'll play. I think when you have Alzari, you have Obed, and you have Jason Holder as your 3 premier pacers, in my opinion, I don't think he'll play. So he's probably just there in case if, let's say, Obed, God forbid, knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Right.
God forbid something happens to Obed, he'll probably play. But I was still a little surprised by it.
Obed is left arm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So he's basically back up to Obed.
Basically, I feel.
Yeah, I I like Sheldon. I always did. I think he has a knack of taking important wickets at key times.
Yes.
And that is all too, sometimes too often missing from a West Indies pace attack. So I think he adds something. He's played in big tournaments before.
Yeah.
So I think the experience will, got Obed missed the last T20 through injury.
Yes.
So I think maybe Sheldon being there could be somewhat of a bit of assistance, even if he doesn't play.
Yeah.
But just to give him a bit of a, overhead to lean on or what's not in terms of stuff like that. So I'm not too disappointed that he's in. I agree with you. It was a bit of a surprise because, well, not because of his statistical performances, but more the fact that he wasn't in recent squads.
Right.
So it's almost like pluck out the wilderness type of thing.
Okay.
But I have no issue with Shannon's inclusion.
Okay. And then just a little mini debate to wrap it up.
Go ahead.
Odin Smith and Romario Shepherd. So Odin Smith got the nod. I agree with picking one or the other, even though I think Romario will most likely go as a reserve. Again, we don't really have a lot of options. But I think this was a toss-up too. Me personally, I would have definitely chosen Odin Smith because Odin Smith has an X factor. You can agree or disagree, but I think he has an X factor, and his X factor is his pace. He can consistently hit 140, 145, up to 150. He's actually the second fastest bowler in the CPL right now behind Alzari. That's going to be useful in Australia. But gosh, can you really depend? I watched a CPL game today between Guyana and Barbados. And it was like, Odin Smith is literally a 1 in 5 bowler. He'll give you one really good performance with the ball and 4 terrible ones before the next good one. And I don't know why. I think for me, well, I do know why. He needs to hone his craft a bit more and get more control. For me, if Odin is bowling, I will not give him a full spell.
Right.
I will use him as an impact bowler.
Okay.
And he has that potential. And I think that's why he got the nod over Romario. That, and in fact, Romario has been very poor this year. Very, very poor.
Yes.
So I feel like West Indies can probably trust Romario's batting more.
Right.
But Odin probably edges the bowling, which maybe edges him as a cricketer. But it could have gone either way, to be honest. It could have gone either way. Romario will still be only playing as a reserve, I'm fully convinced. But man, yeah, boy, that was a toss-up. Go ahead.
Can I chime in?
Sure.
Thank you.
You look itchy to chime in.
I actually have only pleasant things to say right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that
It's the wedding that mellow you out.
it's true.
Yeah.
I'm just happy,
Yeah.
happy for my boy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But right. Odin Smith. I agree with you, like I think his explosiveness is the only difference between the two. Because he's quicker than Romario, a lot quicker. And he has the ability to hit a ball, fair distance. And when I've seen Romario play this past year, the couple series that we had last year and then into this one, he's, like you said, I saw him go for many runs in a series that he's going like death.
Yeah.
And then even with the bat, he's not consistently performing. I think there's one game where he did get some runs.
He did do well, yeah.
Yeah. But then apart from that, nothing else.
Right.
So Odin is an interesting thing because Odin has never, again, been able to cement a consistent run of games together either.
True.
So then it's like you're picking, like you said, for X factor. And that's essentially what it comes down to. I think Odin's inclusion in any of his starting lineups will be based on the conditions and who we're playing against, and if we think that we need more bowling or we need more batting, right? Because I think he does have the ability to come at the end and get some quick fire runs for you.
Yeah.
And his pace might trouble some batsmen if he gets it right. Right direction. So again, I fully agree with you. I think it's a toss of the coin. See, I'm being fair. Toss of the coin. Toss of the coin, as you would say. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I actually forgot Raymond Reefer and Fabian Allen.
Before we get to that though, I think it's right. I don't have a vendetta against West Indies cricket players or cricketers, I should say. Like, I think you think that I'm sometimes overly harsh.
Me, I don't think anything.
And I hit below the belt.
I don't think anything.
You know what I have said about Odin in the past in our private conversations.
Okay, whatever.
In terms of what I felt, but I in this somewhat professional setting, gonna be more chilled, more relaxed. But what I would say about Odin, my feelings towards Odin or Romario or any cricketer that I comment on, I'm only talking about their game. Right? And when I've seen him play, he's not impressed me because when he's bold, he's been erratic, going for many runs. I remember hearing you say this Odin Smith for many a times, and when I finally seen him on TV, all over the place, hit from boundary to boundary. And I like, it's like Marissa forget this side cricket she learned because this man little thing. But you know what?
Odin will prove me right one of these days, though.
What is this?
Yeah,
he will. All game like Carlos Prophet.
And I will say I always believed in Odin.
You will say, well, yes. Fair enough. You know, that's fair. I think everyone has their person that they get behind. Like for example, do I have anyone that I'm gonna stick by in this team? Through the kind of thing? Maybe a Culmers, maybe Nicholas Sporan. I like those players, Hetman as well. You know, but I like Joseph. And I like Correa. Because you don't really see him like that is a man, a Kabul. You understand? So I'll leave it there. You want to speak about
yeah. So I think that the reason I put these two together is because I feel that Raymond Riffer is essentially taking Fabian Allen's spot.
Right.
On the back of a very good CPL. And honestly, I feel like Raymond Riffer has, I don't want to use the word unfair, but for me, he has deserved to play way more for the West Indies than he has. Okay. He's very talented cricketer with bat and ball. And I think he's had a great CPL and that has been rewarded. I think I had mentioned him as an outside bat for my squad. And
you did. Yeah.
But I love Fabian Allen. I really, really do. I was disappointed to see he wasn't included, but I kind of understood it because he wouldn't have played for the year, I think. And he released a statement saying, you know, he was going through some personal issues with the death in his family and everything. So maybe it's a case where he hasn't been great in his CPL, and maybe it's a case where they're like, maybe the World Cup is too soon, both for his form and maybe mentally as well. So I mean, Fabian Allen is the starter player that you really would love in your side for any three of the disciplines, batting, bowling, and fielding. And the thing is, with him not in the squad, we are leaving home our two best fielders in Hayden Walsh Jr. and Fabian Allen. But I get it. I don't necessarily like it because I think it would have still been a good person to have. Maybe he'll make the reserves, I don't know. But I do understand because it's not he's exactly lit up the CPL this year since he's been back from his break. So I don't know. Fair enough. I know Alan is your guy.
Yeah, because like I was like for me that was the one glaring omission in the sense that he's normally been in the squads.
Yeah.
And to see his name not there, I'm like, oh, okay. But like you said, I guess I will go with your expertise. I'm leaning on you. And I have no further comment to make about it. Okay. You said, actually, you know what? And this is the reason why. You have just said that you feel as though Raymond Riffer has been unfairly should have had more opportunities to play.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with what your assessment.
Yeah.
And I'll lean on that for the time being. Okay. But yes, I like Fabian Allen. From what I've seen in the field, with the ball, with the bat, I've seen some very good performances the times that I've seen him in the team. So
yeah.
It's a bit of a surprise, but I wish him all the best with the issues that he's dealing with as well.
Yeah. So, what do you think this squad can accomplish? I mean, looking at it, I think the four that probably won't play in the 11 will probably be Raymond Riffer, Yannick Correa, Odin Smith, and Johnson Charles.
Okay.
I think everybody else will play.
Are guarantees to play?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so.
So really, Odin is the wild card.
Right.
You say you don't think Yannick will play, right? So
I don't think they'll play Yannick.
As we'll say,
I think,
right?
Yeah, I think because it's Australia, they won't play the two spinners.
Yeah, I think warm up again.
Yeah.
I will see Correa play though.
They might probably give him a run in the warm ups to see how he does. Right. But I don't think he'll play in our first official game.
I mean, I think Hussein is decent. But he got the tendency to go for runs too. So I would let him have a nice little backup.
I guess.
Actually, something that I want to mention though, I know how you feel about this before we jump off cricket, or before we get to what we think the team can do. Ross and Chase not in the squad.
I have no problem with that. None.
Ross and Chase was one of our better players last year though. You know that.
All right.
You know that.
Here's where
I know. I just saying.
I understand. Here's where people might come for me, but when Kieron Pollard. And it's interesting because Pollard made the same comment again after TKR got knocked out of the CPL. He talked about the need for a developmental Caribbean tournament where you just have Caribbean players playing T20. people cussed him out for it because they felt he was being critical of the CPL. He was making a dig at Roston Chase by saying that his CPL is not the be all and all. But he's right. You look at England's premier domestic tournament, which is the 100 now.
Right.
But they have the T20 Blast as well. Mm-hmm. India has the IPL, but they play domestic T20s. The CPL can't just be our own tournament. We need only tournament. We need to have another Caribbean 2020 that helps other players that can't play in the CPL because, you know, these franchises want to win.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. So I kind of stray off topic, but I say that to bring it back to what Pollard said about the CPL not being the end, be all and end all. Roston Chase is a good cricketer. Very good cricketer. He has had his issues over the last few years, though. I have no idea what has happened to his batting, but it has deteriorated remarkably. But honestly, Roston is not an international T20 player. The few times he has played for West Indies, his strike rate has been below 100. You can't have that in international T20. I don't care. I don't buy this whole anchor roll nonsense. Even if you're anchoring, you can make a single off every ball or at least straight at 100, not below 100. So yes, he had a good CPL. He hasn't backed up that CPL, mind you.
Right, no.
But he has been decent with the ball. Maybe he may find his way on the reserves for his off spin.
Right.
But I would not choose Roston in any T20 team that I have. That's my opinion.
1 second, if I may.
Sure, you may.
You know how I feel about this strike rate thing? We had this debate. I can't tell me. He's like, oh,
yeah.
I believe that certain batsmen. Yeah, I get the whole notion of strike rate needs to be at least a run a ball or whatnot. But they're batsmen who can shepherd the innings and accelerate when they need to. So if he has that ability, I see no problem.
But he's not done it at international T20 level.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying against the notion of must have run a ball. I'm just saying that doesn't always qualify for me because I know there are plenty of batsmen who start slowly and by the time the innings is over, or they get out.
True.
They're ahead of what their strike rate was.
True. You can bat a Kyle Maris to do that.
Exactly.
You can bat Evan Lewis to do that, a Nicholas Poor, a Shimron Hetmeyer. I don't think you get that from a Roston Chase. Roston Chase is kind of like a one-tempo player, in my opinion. He has the ability. You've seen him do it in last year's CPL.
Right.
But at international T20, he has not shown that for him, in my opinion. When you look at his international T20 record, it's very average.
Fair enough. But I mean, he hasn't played that much either. So
he played enough to show me. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. See favoritism that's happening here. But anyway. Nevertheless, you were talking about
what we can do.
What we can do in the tournament. Okay, so my question to you, I'll let you go first. Do you think it's a team or squad of players that has the potential challenge to actually win the tournament?
You want my honest answer?
Wait, what is the answer?
If West Indies make it out the group stage of the main tournament, I'll be happy.
Okay.
But, okay, I put it this way. I trust our bowling. I think, I told you a million times, people really did not look at the impact that losing Obed McCoy had on our tournament last time. Yes, our batting was
right.
But bowlers is what wins you games. And for me, Obed looks in great form. Azari looks in great form. Jason Holder seems to be finding back his best bowling form. We know what Akil can do. Kalmirs literally has a golden arm that can give us 1 or 2 overs. Who else we have in there? I mean, I'm hoping that Nicholas Puran don't bowl, but
I don't think he will.
Puran could take a couple of wickets, but let me not bank on that.
I don't think he will bowl.
Right. Our bowling looks good, in my opinion. I think the bowling shapes up good. The concern is if the batting can consistently fire. Right. That is my issue.
Right.
Kalmirs and Brandon King have had good CPLs. Lewis, not so much. Puran has had a poor CPL. Hetmeyer has been iffy this CPL. So it's not like we have a top 6 or 7 that is firing on all cylinders. So my concern is our batting.
Right.
So if we can literally get to the semifinals, I will call that a success for the West Indies after the run that they've been on over the last year. But we got to get past Zimbabwe, Scotland, and Ireland first. People may say, well, they are just associate teams, but Zimbabwe and Ireland especially have been playing very, very good cricket against full member nations. So, I don't know. Looking at our team on paper, I would say, of course, West Indies can challenge. Of course.
Right.
but I don't back this side to be consistent. And that's what I'm saying. Semi-final would be a great result for the West Indies.
Okay. All right, what my honest opinion?
Sure.
Okay, so
Let's see how mellow you've become.
in terms of the West Indies and their prospects for the T20 tournament World Cup,
Mm-hmm.
And what I think they will do, my concerns is behind that as well. I think it's gonna be. This is just me. I'm just making a prediction here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, maybe a spoiler, but don't
Okay.
just take it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe that it will be a all too familiar story in the sense of losing cheap wickets at the start, then pull run and hit mega, try to pull it together, and then want them get out at the critical moment just when you think they're about to, launch. I think it's gonna be that familiar tale. I think we'll win a couple games though, so I do expect us to qualify for the tournament, main tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I do expect us to qualify for the main tournament, and I think in terms of the group phase itself, I think we'll win a couple games in the group, but I think it'll be a case of trying to catch up. I think we're lately knowing West Indies. I think we're likely to lose more of those games heavily, and then really have to be playing catch up, and it's going to just be like the wall, the odds against us from the off.
Right.
So I'm hoping that I'm wrong, and I'm hoping that we get off the good start, because the worst that we need is what happened in the last tournament where we lost that first game really, really badly, and then we were like up against it from the off. Definitely don't want that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but again, I think if they got out the group phase and into the semifinals again, I will qualify it as a success. I don't think this team is ready to win a T20 World Cup just yet.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But let me just say for the record that if West Indies don't make it out the group stage, I won't be shocked.
Okay.
I won't be. So let me just put that out there for everybody. I won't be shocked. I'll be very upset and disappointed, and it's not only because of West Indies, because again, I think that Ireland and Zimbabwe have been playing very good cricket. And I think West Indies need to be at their best to beat those sides. I really do.
Right.
So we'll see how it goes.
No problem. All right, so that's it for cricket.
Yes.
All right. And now we're into the football. And we have two things on the agenda. We have,
my gosh.
who's in the best shape leading up to the World Cup. And we also have to discuss the woes or the failings of England and Germany. Your precious Germany.
Wow.
And I wouldn't say my England, because I don't feel like my England anymore.
Until he put up a status on WhatsApp when they have a few good results saying it's coming home.
I was trolling.
Right.
I really was. And I was joking. Because I know that the whole world was waiting to come for me, right?
Right.
They always with this aiming 966 type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's all good and fine. Seriously, I was just taking the piss. I didn't think England would have. We spoke before the tournament started. You knew that I didn't think England would have won. I actually can we start with England?
Sure.
Perfect. I actually have predicted from the 2018 World Cup that England would have done poorly. Remember?
Yeah,
you
did.
I said the draw was so kind.
Yeah.
Open like the Red Sea.
Yeah.
It still could get the final, right? They had a home tournament essentially last year, the Euros, and they still come in it. And this is the reason why. Gareth Southgate. I mean, I have it there, right? The players play the game.
True.
But Gareth Southgate is like the king. He's like the poster boy for mismanagement. Real talk. Like, against Croatia, you realized that Modric and Rakitic and Brozovic took over the game in the semi-final. Started controlling midfield.
And you don't do anything.
About it. Right? In the Euros, Italy again, second half. Jorginho started to take the game. And you don't do anything about it to control the midfield. Midfield is very, very important.
Yeah.
Now, I get his problem in the sense that in terms of the players that he has at his disposal, most of them are either sitting midfielders or way forwards. England's strength are in the fullback positions. They have a couple decent holders in Rice or Henderson or Phillips, if you count him as a holder. They have Harry Kane, who is not like, in my opinion, I don't think Harry Kane's a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but he's very
Spurs
prolific.
fans come for you.
I'm telling the truth. I am telling the truth. He's not a world beater. And that's what I mean. He's not a special talent.
I agree.
But he's very prolific in front of goal. He scores goals.
He's good at what he does.
Perfect. And the strength is that they have a lot of options now in the wide areas. And people always say about a team is strongest, man, the manager got selection headaches, bull crap. No. A team
Does he have selection headaches though?
But here's the thing. I disagree with that sentiment that a team is strongest when they have like they're just overload options. People will tell you that, but that's not the case. A team is the strongest when the manager closes his eyes and know who he's going to play. Because then he definitely know who's his first 11.
Let me throw something at you though. Southgate knows who gameplay.
In some, okay, this is what I mean.
He just chooses the wrong players.
There's no, but the thing, there's an inconsistency in, not really inconsistency. How do I want to say? I don't like Southgate reminds me a lot of Roy Hodgson, but just with a little bit more luck.
Hodgson boy.
Because when you look at what Hodgson did with squads and picking squads. Every squad a new man getting a cap. Somebody new getting any frame. And it's like you need a nucleus, a core group. So if you can pick 23 players for the squad, you need a 18 that is a core, and then fight for one spots. Yeah. When I fight for it across there.
Yeah.
But you can't and if you release about England, yes, some of the players play a lot. Like for example, Kyle Walker plays a lot. Harry Maguire plays a lot. Declan Rice plays a lot. Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. I think those are maybe miss them out. I would say those are 6 kind of like stalwarts in the team that are kind of his favorites to go to play. But a lot of the other players are chopping and changing, and there's no. I never get a sense with England that there's no continuity or cohesion within the squad or within the team in terms of this is how we play. And I hate the fact that he switches to back 3 then goes to back 4.
Yeah.
And I think he was fortunate in 2018 in Russia in the sense that a lot of the big nations were
poor,
a bit down their luck. The European Championship was a home tournament, and again, I think that suited England to a certain extent, not having trouble or most of their games were at Wembley. That helped. But I think now getting this tournament, when you see the likes of Argentina finding the self again, Brazil is going to be there. Germany has a good manager, even though Germany needs.
Let's not talk about Germany yet.
Right, yeah, but France have had their issues, but France is France.
Yeah,
they're gonna be hit or miss. Holland seems to be finding back a bit of rhythm.
Yeah,
Spain's always gonna be a threat. And if you look at draw, in a finish second, skip nobody. I play no minnow this time. I think if you win the group, you play Senegal, who is a strong team. This Sadio. Mendy and others.
Yeah.
And if you come running right, you might play France. So
really,
there's no hiding. I think so. There's no hiding place for Gareth Southgate this in this
and the US is in your group, right?
And US is in my group.
They're not a bad side either. They have a lot of good young players.
They're not a bad side. Wales is going to be like a derby.
They're in that group as well.
Yes.
Wow.
And Iran is a kind of an unknown quantity. And I've lived long enough now that I've seen England draw against Algeria in a World Cup.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't count my chickens before the hatch, right? And I'm not going to get into the issues of the past World Cup squads that England had.
Right.
Why would say, right? And I think people need to be real with themselves. I hear a lot of people saying that Southgate's done better than any previous England managers. Statistically, yes, in terms of the way in which they advanced through tournaments. But come on, before the 2018 World Cup, a ball was kicked. Everyone, me and you probably, if you remember the conversation, we were like, this is one of the poorest England squads that we can remember in our lifetime. It really was. And then you lucked in after that World Cup and found the emergence of Phil Foden and the Bukayo Saka. Media kind of pushed Jack Grealish playing because they didn't want him to begin with. Mason Mount emerged. I know he's not my favorite either, but I just calling names.
Yeah, a good crop of young players.
And then you have Trent and Reece and emerging talents. Let's call it that, because at the end of the day, to me, there are emerging talents with the exception of Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling, who again, they're good players, but I don't think they're like world beaters. They're not great players. They're good players.
Okay.
And you've lucked in on a nucleus that I think I don't think you need. I don't think you need a special player necessarily to to do well. But I think you need a cohesive way of playing that everyone is on board with and suits the players that you have.
Right.
And I think if England play, this is my thing. I think England look best when they're playing 3-4-3. You have 3 back, you have 2 sitters in midfield, and you put the emphasis on getting the ball way further way forwards, which are your strength. So the Fodens and the Raheem Sterlings and the Bukayo Sakas, and ask them to beat men on the dribble and across the boundary box, and ask the main backs like Trent or Kyle Walker, whoever, to get further support. I think that's when England look their most potent. The best game that I've seen England play on the Southgate was don't want to hurt your feelings, but the game last year in the Euros against Germany. That was the best England looked in that tournament.
Germany could have probably beat them then too.
They could have, But I'm saying that was the best England look from an attacking standpoint.
Yeah.
In my view, that's the best game in the playing tournament. And Southgate gives me the creeps when it comes to that, because with Hodgson, I remember like this notion of not knowing your best 11, not knowing your best system. And I don't care how much he talks about wanting to adapt to suit the opponent and this and that and all that foolishness.
Yeah, he doesn't know his best team.
You don't know your best team. You don't know your best squad.
I think.
You think Ivan Toney got any right coming in the squad at this late stage?
And then did he even play?
He didn't play.
Like, what was the point?
He wasn't once he trained.
Like, and that actually goes into my points about Southgate. But before I go to my main point, Southgate is very protected. I was watching, not really watching, but I was looking at all the meltdowns that people have every time England have a bad result. I said to myself, the way England play, because they don't play very well, very attractive football. If you had, I remember when Fabio Capello was England manager, this man used to get blister every time England just did one thing wrong. Southgate is protected because he came through the ranks, and you never see any pundits really criticizing. It's only yesterday actually I saw Gary Lineker tweet something interesting. He was like, when England play to their strengths, which is their attacking, they play well. But when England play to cover their weakness, which is their defending, they play poorly. That's the most criticism that I've ever seen Southgate received. Even Rio criticized him for not including Tomori in his starting lineups. Like, I read something before I came out here saying, I don't know if it's a rumor or not, that Harry Maguire was injured. How is Harry Maguire? I do not buy this, oh, he's never let England down nonsense. How does a man that cannot start for his club playing as England's first choice centre back when you have Tomori blazing it up in Serie A? You have you have Gehi doing well for Crystal Palace, who are both arguably are better than Maguire, but we won't go down that lane. Why are you picking
Ben White has been playing for Arsenal.
Oh my gosh, yes. How is Ben White, who has had a good start to the season with Arsenal? You know how I feel about Arsenal, but give Jackie. The man has been playing well. How does he, who has started every game for his club, not even get in the squad when Maguire is just warming United's bench? To me, you can use words that like he trusts the players never let him down, but you have to pick players based on form. I believe if England had to pick their best 11 based on form, they could beat anyone. That's my personal opinion. I hate saying it, but I really do believe that because the defense is not as weak when you include certain players, in my opinion. But that comes back to my main point about Southgate. I personally think Southgate is a weak manager. He's a weak manager because any man that cannot make a decision on 4 right backs has a problem. I know that they're good, Andrew.
Which one? All of them?
Yes, they're all good. I believe. All right, you could debate that after, but let me just make my point first.
Go ahead.
You have 4 right backs in the squad because you literally cannot choose your best 2. That speaks to weak management. I don't care what anybody tells me. You are worried about the backlash if Trent get dropped. You're worried about the backlash if Walker get dropped. You're worried about the backlash if you leave out Reece. You're worried about the backlash if you leave out Trippier. That is why he picks all 4, so he doesn't have to deal with it.
All right, so I don't think there's gonna be any backlash if you leave out Trippier. To be honest, doesn't mean. I don't feel so.
That's true, because he just loves Trippier.
He just loves Trippier.
Yeah.
Right, that's one. Kyle Walker, I guess so, because he's the most experienced, so you'll take him for that. Kyle Walker's not a bad player.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not a bad player.
That's why I said they're all good.
Reece is decent. But this thing, right? No. I'm not going to criticize Reece. I'm not criticizing Reece. Trent is everybody's favorite, subject. All of a sudden, Trent wasn't in the squad. That was like the headline. Trent not included in the squad against Germany, having not played in this defeat against Italy 3 or 2 days earlier. And here's my thing. I remember we had during Champions when we were at our friend's house. We had an argument, included some other people. Oh, Reece James, and Reece James versus Trent. And it was law. People raised the voice at me.
Side note, we will do an episode. Reece versus Trent. We will. We have to.
No, we don't.
We have to. We literally have their shirts on the desk. We have to.
You don't have to, but
they're literally our favorite players on our club site. We have to do a podcast about Reece versus Trent.
But I'll tell you this. I will say this, right? The notion that Trent is a liability or Trent is a be if you play him in England team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've talked about Trent and his defending and Trent. When things are going well, at least for Liverpool, Trent interested in running back. With any haste or any urgency to prevent a goal.
But arguably that means that he'd be good at right wing back.
No, that doesn't mean that. This point making about Trent.
Mm-hmm.
Many people tell me that, for England, he's a liability and this and that. England just were semi-finalists in the World Cup, the last one, and they were just beating finalists in the European Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what, people come at me for this statement, but it's the truth. Regardless of what you think, England will start the tournament as among the morning favorites because of that recent tournament history. Rightly or wrongly. I don't think they should, but that's wrongly. Mm-hmm. But still, I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying that will be the perception. Mm-hmm. If you look at I know what happened since the last couple of random results. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the bookie results, remember it was France and England as second favorites. Mm-hmm. England will, because of the recent tournament history, they will be. And like you said, I think a lot of people do consider England to have a lot of talent, in the attacking areas, and feel like, okay, this is a team that can do well.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of star power, name power, whatever the case would be. You trying to tell me that playing for England trying to go defense so much against most teams? I assume England will be the team in the ascendancy.
With Southgate.
Where are you thinking about that?
Because it's Southgate.
I'm just saying, right? But no, I'm saying based on the perception of England. Mm-hmm. If you're favorites and you're stronger, and you're going to be the stronger team, unless you're playing France or Brazil or whoever, you will play teams that you are going to be expected to have most of the ball. Against Iran, England will have most of the ball. Mm-hmm. Against you, America will be the same. Mm-hmm. And against Wales, I think it will be the same. The first 15, 30 minutes apart. Wales, that game will probably have some challenges. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is that you mean to tell me that you, with 70, 60, 70 odd percent of the ball, you don't think that Trent could create a couple chances for you that will outweigh maybe the defensive lapses that you might have at the back end? In fact, it might not even come to that, because when you look at Liverpool play, most teams Trent doesn't have to defend that much. Because I'm saying when you're dominant in the way that you would expect England team that's probably favourites to be dominant, you really don't do that much defending.
All right, let me stick a pin. Mm-hmm. Reece will start at right back for me for England, personally. But let me make this point. Mm-hmm. Your point is valid.
Right.
But look who's playing centre back for England.
But the thing, it's not who's saying that about Harry.
Yeah,
but the thing,
you cannot have.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you had two centre backs back there that you can trust to do what they're supposed to do, your point makes sense. But the fact is, he's gonna play Harry Maguire.
But this is the thing, I was of that opinion before Harry Maguire's form was bad. So even my notion was that because to me Maguire's form only really went downhill since the Euros. Actually, mine was bad, but for England to start going downhill after the Euros. So I'm saying, based on the back of those tournament runs, you expect that England will play teams that they will be expected to be the dominant team that, basically carrying the game forward.
Reece can still start for me though. I
know, but anything, right? I know. You want to hear something? I really don't give a damn whether or not Trent plays or he doesn't. You want to know why? Because Southgate, you want to do me a favor? You can left home Trent lay work with clock playing training field.
You're good.
You know what I'm saying? Don't allow my boy Trent to be a part of that debacle. You know what I mean? But almost it's like a catch-22, because if they don't catch Trent, I ain't gonna do bad. You hear Trent should have gone, and then my man can still be at the forefront of this whole debate where he doesn't need to be.
Okay, so if you were picking two right backs for England, because personally there should not be more than two.
It should not be more than two.
Who would you carry?
Who am I taking? I'm taking Kyle Walker and one of Reece or Trent based on preference. Now, if I England, I think Trent's I think Reece is good going forward too, but I think Trent's range of passing is a bit better than Reece's. Okay. So I'm saying Trent might give you a bit more going forward in terms of creating a good cross or a dangerous situation from a set piece than Reece would. But defensively, yes, Trent has more moments at the back. But I think honestly, you want to hear something? No? I think that all of England's defenders are guilty of that. Because people forget that Kyle Walker lost even a parachute at the back post for that game against Croatia. All of them is doing nonsense. All of them. So don't sing out Trent. Harry Maguire good. Kyle Walker got his moments. Luke Shaw got his moments too. Who else played? John Stones. Don't talk about he. People like to forget. People got amnesia.
They do, short-term memory.
And the goalkeepers for England is doing a lot of nonsense as well.
Them. So who's your first choice back five?
My first choice back five. Whew. I would have sent it put, but he fumbling since yesterday, right? So I can't send it put. But honestly, it'd be Pope or Ramsdale. But preferably Ramsdale, because I think Ramsdale's a bit better with his feet, admittedly. Okay. So Ramsdale being good for me. But see, problem with that, Ramsdale going to experience because you don't play. But anyhow, I would pick Ramsdale. I left back. Sheesh. The problem is that England options at left back, 9 like first choice at the club right now, which is Shaw and Chilwell. If you're flipping a coin, I might go with Chilwell because they're tired of Luke Shaw. But I think Luke Shaw is a good player when he focus and he fit and he in shape. Don't get me wrong, but I will go with Chilwell for now. I will play Tamori alongside. I go on farm alongside Bedway. I don't think I can learn anything further from John Stones, and I can't learn anything further from Eric there. So on farm, and just because I want, the all about England should play youth fan, for rawness and why playing Ben White? He got on tournament scars, let he play. And right back, I will go with Reece.
But you see that back four. With that back four, I think that back four is solid. Relatively agile, good players. That back four gives your side the base to do what they need to do. That way you don't need to play Rice and Phillips. You could maybe have you could play Rice, Bellingham, and either Mount or somebody else in that central midfield role. And for me, then England has a better base to be fluid going forward. I think whoever is playing in front of that back four can trust at that back four because Tomori and White are relatively quick. Chilwell and Reece too. That's a good back four. That's a back four on form. But Ben White is getting nowhere near that World Cup squad because if you leave out the man for the last 2 games, he ain't getting picked for the World Cup squad.
Yeah, but the thing.
And I think it's very unfair.
The problem that England have, and again, I was one who I once felt as though give Foden, give Grealish, give Mount a run in centre midfield. But if you look at how they play for their teams, they're not playing in way forward position. They're more like
James Maddison.
I was gonna say James Maddison is not getting unfair because he's the one player who plays as a number 8 for his club. Regardless of what you think of him, and he's one guy that is being unfair a bit.
I don't get it. The man is literally balling out in a struggling Leicester side, and for me, I think he didn't start last season great.
Yeah, he didn't.
But over the last few years, he has been good.
He has been good. Yeah.
Why can't he get a call up?
When he first met Leicester, I was like, okay, I'm surprised he started Leicester, to be honest. Cause he felt as though a bigger club would have gone in for him. But I think at that time Leicester was pushing to gain Champions League, so maybe he didn't feel the need to necessarily leave Leicester immediately. But England's problem, like when you mentioned about playing Mount or somebody else in that midfield era, problem is that those guys play more as a wide forward for their clubs. So that's why I said England's strength is in the wide areas. They've got too many options, not really too many, because they think Sterling should play, Harry Kane, and then you pick one other, and then the debate is going to rage on. It's going to be because if you look at it, you took Bukayo Saka, you took Grealish, you took Foden, you've taken Mount. I think Mount will go. But then you left home people like Sancho and Rashford that other people like. So the debate is going to rage on who should go. I think Southgate, that's my problem with Southgate. Southgate seems to have never settled on this is my core group. And it's almost like he picks a currently fifth of the month. So if you flip of the month, man, if Sancho played
100%.
Let's see, right? You see Sancho started come get the last month for mine.
Yeah.
Let Sancho play
he can get
like that until November, right? Ooh, Southgate got a headache and scratchy here. Listen, and if it wasn't for my thing is that I prefer if Trent don't go and Trent just stay home. Not because I think Trent can't make the plane, but just I know that Trent is not going to play, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want the circus around Trent and I know whether or not he should play or not.
But that's exactly how I feel about Ben Chilwell getting England call-ups. Like for me, I personally feel Chilwell is better than Shaw. But my thing is that why are you calling up the man when he could be at Cobham working with his new manager and you're not going to play him?
Right.
You ever give the man 5 minutes out of 2 games? Stop calling he up.
And the next thing I want to mention before we get off of England is the striking department. You have Harry Kane and literally no one else. And not because England don't have no one else.
Because he doesn't play
them. He doesn't play anybody else. Exactly. You don't know what other people are capable of.
And I heard Simon Jordan say on TalkSport, you know what you're going to get from Harry Kane. You know what you're going to get. He's England's captain. He's going to start. Try Tammy. Try Ivan Toney. Try other players to see, God forbid, something happen to Harry Kane foot or ankle again, because he ankles his act up sometimes. Like, give the players a chance to bed themselves in the team and see what they can do.
And this was what was disappointing about England's last squad selection. I think I messaged. It was you that I messaged right when I said it was like.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my pit, 8 or 9 forwards. Like,
Yeah.
like, why, sir? You would anyway, man. But Jared Boeing, I was Tony about there. People still making noise for Callum Wilson again team. Calvert Lewin, let he get back for everything. You know, one
Oh my gosh, yes, probably.
So there's no semblance of, because I think at this stage, right, you should know if something happens to Harry Kane.
Yeah.
You should got an idea what somebody capable of on the international scene.
Agreed 100%.
And we do not know. Because Tammy has never had a solid run of games.
Never.
Every team has even. I think that would say the strength for England is coming, attacking around the right wide areas as opposed to the middle. Because I think what people associate as playing well is having somebody in midfield to pick a pass. England don't have that. England's creative players that Southgate are picking, or guys who want to like grab position for them, who want to pull wide, dribble and come inside and take a shot, or play a reverse pass. Most often than not.
Yeah. So
they're not that type of player. So that England's strength is coming through the way areas. Thank God for Bellingham, but I feel like England probably ruin he. So
let's hope not. It's a really good player.
They will. England will try. England will find a way. Ever got country in this world to find a way to ruin a good prospect? It is the English. You know what I'm saying?
Well.
And I'll leave it there. What my expectations for with England going to this World Cup? And I know I can break this time record, turn him in charm. I predict it twice that it did happen. It can happen this time, though. I know.
What was that?
Second round exit or last 8 at best. I don't have England going for. You know, and but so either. Keep the job.
I don't either, and I think what's interesting for me is what you said at the beginning of the segment. International teams are stronger, and I think England's best chance of winning a major tournament has gone.
Past the best chance was last year, the Euros. That was the best chance.
No, I would say 2018 was the best chance.
You didn't be in France now, final. You didn't be in France.
Oh, that's true.
Not because France was
that's true.
Not because France was a special team, but I don't think, because remember, if you look at the squad, England got to that far because of the because the whole pathway opened up.
Right. I was more looking at the run, not I forget France.
Right.
Was, yeah. No. Yeah.
You didn't be in France.
Yeah.
But last year was your best chance because you were home, and instead of grasping that chance, what did you do? You bring in 2 men off a match that you hardly rely upon for the whole tournament to kick a football.
Yeah.
Take off a man that could kick a penalty, because Kyle Walker could kick a penalty as good as anybody. I know that very much. I have never. You know,
yeah.
I believe Kyle Walker could have kicked a penalty. Jordan Henderson has kicked penalties for Liverpool before. You sub both of them and brought on, and there's no indictment against Sancho or Rashford or Saka who missed. Right?
I get what you're saying.
Sancho hardly played in the tournament. Lightweight Rashford. And Saka was a kid. You had him kicking number 5.
He threw those guys on the bus.
Because he's listening to the media, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what?
The media get and tell you that, the past generation in England had mental scars and you need youth to kick a penalty. My man, good for what players talking pushes, man.
Anyways, let me move off of England.
Yeah, move off
I'm tired. So let's touch briefly on Germany.
Sure.
Man. Germany.
What's the issue? Well, before you go on though, the other teams are stronger. And I think what's also paramount is that other teams are going to have better managers than Southgate as well.
Yes. How could we forget that?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Just to mention, right? Yeah. Southgate is a tall task, buddy.
Yeah.
But if you punch above your weight this time and surprise me, I thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Germany.
Oh, gosh. I don't know where to start with Germany. I feel like Hansi Flick is a good manager. We have talent, like England. Maybe not as much, but we have good talent. But Germany's defense is I don't want to say poor, but poor. I know Rudiger didn't play in yesterday's game, right?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I'm not sure why though. You know, since he left Chelsea, I don't really follow what goes on with him much, but you know. But Germany's defense, like when England came back from 2-0 yesterday, I wasn't even surprised. I don't know what is it about this side. I know they struggle to score goals for sure. I mean, when you have Timo playing as a striker. But there's no shortage of talent. But for some reason, our defense just looks shaky. We always look like we can concede 1, 2, even 3 goals like we did yesterday. Like, you let an England side that ain't score open play goal in God knows how long. Score how much open play goals yesterday too? I don't know what it is. I mean, I felt like the team was under a malaise under Joachim Low, and I felt like he probably stayed in job a year too long. They got Hansi, They got Hansi, and I rate Hansi as a manager. But for some reason, even our Nations League front, people talk about England. Germany only won one game in the Nations League.
Mm-hmm.
Got beat against Hungary, I think, last week Friday or something, 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's something about this side that isn't clicking like it used to. I mean, 2014 won that World Cup. Like, I can't say the team is any less talented because, yes, people like Ozil have gone, Schweini have gone, Lam have gone. But you got Kimmich coming in, very good player. You got Gundogan, very good player. That young fella, Jamal Musiala, I think his name is, that could have chosen England. He plays for us, very good player. Havertz is a good player. Havertz is a good player. Kai Havertz is a good player.
I beg your pardon?
You can make me. You can just keep doing this, right?
But wait, no. But I think it's right. All right, go ahead. Finish your statement. Tell me. Talk about Germany.
We don't have a shortage of talent, but for some reason the team, we don't play badly. But there's something about putting together a full 90 consistent minutes that the team just isn't doing, and I don't know why. I can't get it figured out.
All right. I'm not worried about Germany in winter.
That makes one of us.
Sure. This way, because Germany's a big horse. A real old, steady big horse. And I feel like y'all did poorly at the last World Cup, and y'all didn't do well at the last Euros. England knocked out Germany for Christ's sake. So you know that.
Please don't remind me. That still burned me then to no end.
England managed by Gareth Southgate beat Germany last European Championship.
I think I cried that day.
So I don't foresee Germany going 3 straight tournaments and not doing anything significant. So I think y'all will. They're not showing me that yourself. They can. I think you will surprise yourself. I question. I think there's talent in the team. Is it at the same level as that 2014 team? In my opinion, no. Right. Because I feel like Kimmich is a good player. I really like Kimmich, but I don't think people like Gundogan and other players that you have are at the same level of, for example,
Ozil
or Khedira, even Götze. That potential Götze had at the time.
Götze boy.
So I still feel like there still needs to be development. I feel like some of your guys that are supposed to be big stalwarts like Sané. I think Sané's been good so far this season, but he had a little dip when he left Man City.
Yeah.
I think Serge Gnabry is a good player.
He didn't play yesterday either. Is he injured? Or then again, I only watched the first half, so I don't know if he came on.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't call Serge Gnabry a world beater, but I think he's a good player.
He's a good player.
Right.
We have a lot of good players.
I think the problem that you have this. Please don't attack me. But I think the problem that Germany has.
I can come for you, aren't I?
Yeah, you come for me.
Crack my knuckles.
Crack your knuckles, man. Don't hit me, but like stringer.
Don't say what you're about to say they want.
But let's be honest. If Timo Werner, right, and Kai Havertz, parents hiding passport, right, you will not know this German. For the most part, you know this.
Kai has not had a great last year, but Kai is a good player.
That is to be proven.
Okay, fair enough, but there's a good player in there.
There on Talk Sport, right, where Guy said Kai has justified. It was and there's a point too. Guy said Kai had justified his transfer fee
just because he scored. I don't buy into those arguments. Honestly, I don't. Yeah, he'll be forever remembered in history of Chelsea Football Club. But
Kai has to do a lot more.
Yeah, he does.
But the real disappointment is Timo Werner too, because I think for sure.
Timo.
So I think in certain areas there are players who are not at the same level of what you have previously.
Yeah,
but I think Germany will be back. I think this World Cup, I think you guys will do better than you expect. What do you expect Germany to do? What's your expectation?
Who's in our group?
Check it out. I'm not sure. Check it off my head. Who's in your group?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. Every time I watch Germany, I am disappointed. Like, we play well in parts, but just putting together that full, consistent 90 minutes, I just don't see it from Germany.
But honestly, it will not surprise me if Germany happened to go past it last year. I think the teams with that World Cup pedigree.
Look at this group first.
You can never ever be too certain that they'll fail.
Okay, Germany's group is... Oh, okay. Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan.
Okay. Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan?
That's a group. Group E.
Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan. Okay. Those 4.
Yeah. So then who do we play? You
Coming up.
said. Ooh, but then we get that group. Might go play like a. Oh, got some good teams on that draw though. I mean, I get what you're saying, but for me, as I said, watching Germany over the last year or two, they have not shown me anything to tell me, yeah, this team can get to the semifinals.
Okay.
Talent-wise, it's there, and the manager, we have a good manager, but they're just not showing me. Like, that defense worries me.
I would say, I understand why the defense worries you, but I would say with Flick, I think he's going to be there for a year. Right. So I think it's still early days. I think this tournament will offer you some encouragement, and I think going forward, then maybe in time for 2026, you might then see yourself again as a realistic contender.
Yeah, because I see a lot of really great players coming up through the under-21, right? So and like I said, Ifeala Musiala looks like a real prospect. He reminds me a lot of Bellingham, to be honest. I know they don't play similar roles, but they have, like, they're young, but they have this air about them, like they've been playing forever.
Right.
That sort of confidence, like they know that they're good, and they just are focused on expressing it on the pitch. So there's talent there. I can never really see objectively sometimes with the teams I support. So I'll take your word for it.
And players that play for your club, I know, like Kai Havertz. Although I think
Kai Havertz is a good player.
Okay.
I can't keep saying it, manifesting it.
Right, manifest it for true.
Whatever.
I mean, you keep saying it, don't make it true. Just want you to know that. But he's not a bad player either. But I just want Kai Havertz. Again, I think he's one that he has something to prove. He
does. And there's a player in there, but he needs to be... You see that goal he scored yesterday?
I saw.
That is the sort of things that he can produce. But why doesn't he do it more often?
But did you see the one that Mason Mount scored?
Yes, very good. He does it more regularly than Kai, though.
He does?
Yeah.
But anyway, Mason Mount is another one too. But they keep telling me that he's a player in there, but I still wait to see. But I was telling my cousin, right?
I'm not doing
that
this.
Mason Mount took that straight instinctively, right? If you think about that, he didn't get a goal scorer, no.
But you know that. But wouldn't you say the best goal scorers are instinctive ones?
But Mason Mount no goal scorer.
I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
So leave Mount alone, please.
I can't leave Mount alone.
Jeez. I'm sure if Mount used to wear.
No. Actually, I'm not you. I am not you.
No, don't associate with me with that.
When a man in a Liverpool shirt can't play, he can't play.
I seem to remember in a private conversation you said that's one thing I don't do. That if a man got on this shirt and he sucks, I will say he sucks.
Except for German players, I have come to find. I miss him. I've come to find.
All right, Bo.
Right, Lampard can brainwash you.
Oh my gosh.
By playing.
I cannot. We done? Because I done with you.
Right.
I can't.
In terms of the other contenders for the World Cup, I think Argentina's a good show.
Yeah, they're looking good.
I think Brazil, as again, usual suspects.
For sure. Brazil is definitely not that Brazil that get thrashed 7-0. 7-1.
7-1, yeah.
7-1. Definitely.
That was in mid-game circumstances, though, to me.
Sure.
But I didn't want to explain right now. But,
okay, sure.
But we know why that happened.
Right.
Because I had another Chelsea player that decided that he didn't want to stand home at anything. He just want to go walk about.
Anyways, who else are the contenders that you're referring to?
Cut me off, man. I thought about.
He might doesn't even play for Chelsea anymore. You always gotta come for my club.
I'm just making a point.
Whatever. You could have said former Arsenal player comfortably.
But you know if you're talking about Chelsea.
Well.
Not Arsenal. The Arsenal team is we won't forget.
Well.
Mohamed Salah do he to play for Arsenal.
Anyways, do you have anything else to add to who's the contenders?
Besides Spain, not Spain, Argentina and Brazil. I think Spain is a good team. I think Spain plays good football.
France, of course. France got the individuals.
Yeah, France got the individuals. I think Spain will be a contender as well. I think Spain will play good football, but I think what Spain doesn't have is that star power. So Spain might lack a little bit of that threat in terms of, at least in people's mind, the general fans. I don't think other teams will take Spain, lately.
And let's not rule out some of the African teams either.
To win?
I think
Senegal will be. I think Senegal is a threat. I would really like it for Mane,
Of course,
yeah. And that the only African team that I backing, that I champion. My boy Sadio.
Fair enough.
Any other African teams you are impressed by or?
Not really.
Yeah, it's Senegal, but how that goes sometimes. I mean, like historically, when African teams have had that kind of expectation, they have faltered a bit.
We've seen that with Ghana a lot over the years. Yes, Ivory Coast.
But I got faith in Sadio.
Man, can't ever say he got faith in Senegal. Man just got faith in Sadio.
Sadio is Senegal.
Sorry. Anyways, I just can't. I've had enough of you.
For true.
Yes, I really have.
But
Premier League is back this weekend.
Nerves.
Oh
yes,
my gosh,
is.
I feel like it has been so long.
Really?
It's been weeks.
You have to do some predictions then.
Oh, I guess we could do that quickly before we wrap up.
I got a couple games on my mind.
I was watching, I bet there is. I was watching CPL today and I saw the North London Derby being advertised.
Yeah, as the early kickoff.
I was shocked. You know I can be outside in the morning for that.
It's early kickoff as well.
So yes, no better place to start than there. Arsenal versus Spurs.
Okay, my prediction first.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, this might shock you. I have a funny feeling I'm going for a 2-1 Arsenal win. But if Arsenal get beat right, it won't be the worst thing ever. I haven't watched Arsenal fan TV much this season so far.
It's
so.
true, you know. I going with 2-2.
Okay.
That's my save. You know, I can't honestly come.
I just have a funny feeling that Arsenal will come good.
Liverpool.
Where is Spain, baby?
Arsenal.
Yeah.
What name stadium name again?
Emirates.
Right?
What you saw though?
Honestly, I was honestly drawing a blank though. Honestly,
you could ask me.
Liverpool. That's why I said
Yeah,
what
that's true. You did ask me. But anyway.
Liverpool at home to Brighton.
I don't want to talk about that. 2-0 Liverpool win.
Chelsea away at Crystal Palace.
You go first. That's your team.
I tell you what, I remember. I can't remember if it was an episode we recorded but didn't get to post. But I think I said I am not predicting a Chelsea win until they show me they could win. But arguably that was under Tuchel. So you know what? New manager, fresh thinking. I'll go with a 2-1 to Chelsea.
I share that sentiment. I think you will come out on top 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
I think Potter will have his first 3 points as Chelsea manager.
One can only hope. And I had no idea. Manchester Derby on this weekend too?
Yep. And it's actually not late kickoff on Sunday. It's actually early kickoff on Sunday.
That means I can't watch this. A girl God go church.
I watch it for you.
Praise God.
I watch it for you.
Alright.
No, I don't want to go to church, right? But I'll watch it for you.
Right.
I'm just doing your favor.
I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But City versus United. Man City game in that, man. 2-1. 2-1 City. Or maybe a 1.
I'll go with 3-1.
You think City can beat Man United that bad?
Why not? Erling Haaland? Why not?
Yeah, but they do look. United do look different in the last few weeks.
Yeah. I know they're playing City.
No, fair enough.
Who look different than everybody else too. So
true. Very, very true.
I will keep my prediction as 3-1 to the Manchester City.
Very, very true.
You know? So
well, that's it from me.
That's it from me too. So I think this has been. How did you enjoy the episode? Did you enjoy it?
I did, you know. I did. Except when you're always coming for me, but I know that's just your personality. You just like to come for me.
So let me just ask a question. So did they get on your nerves a bit?
A bit. Just a
So
bit.
did they get on your nerves?
Yeah. A lot.
Well, I enjoyed this episode thoroughly then.
Whoa. You see?
That was my objective. That was my goal from the start.
I'm asking for some applications for some co-hosts. So just
listen, me and Shaq do not support this venture that you're doing. We don't support this initiative at all.
All right.
Very disappointed in you.
Anyways, if interested, just let me know.
Oh,
I'll fire him in.
Listen, right?
One.
Fair enough. Viewers, thank you for joining us. This has been another edition of the Dugout Podcast. We'll see you next week.